Tonight's movie review was requested by OAW patron Double O Soldier. Salute to you, fam. And if you have a request for a film that you would like to see reviewed right here on OAW Entertainment, become a patron at patreon.com/OAW and select the blockbuster tier. And with that being said, this is my review of Rian Johnson's Knives Out. Let's get it started.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Greetings to everyone watching live and everyone watching after the fact. Shout out to the faithful and salute to the patrons. This is Larry Williams, OAW Commander-in-Chief, here to bring you all yet again another movie review. And this week, once again, another huge shout out, another huge thank you for long time OAW faithful and OAW patron Double O Soldier for requesting Knives Out. That's what we're going to be taking a look at tonight. So for those of you all who want to read along, in the description box below, I'm going to be giving you all some background info and a brief synopsis of the film, and then I will go ahead and proceed with my thoughts. But real quick, just a friendly reminder for you all, if you guys have any questions or comments you want to make sure get read live on air before the end of tonight's broadcast, please feel free to leave a super chat. You can also go ahead and support the channel via Cash App and PayPal. The links to both of those are in the description box below, and I will make sure to get to your comment before the end of tonight's stream. All right, so now pulling up the description box. So, ladies and gentlemen, please feel free to read along. This is my review of the 2019 American mystery film Knives Out, written and directed by Rian Johnson and produced by Johnson Ram Bergman. The film stars an ensemble cast including Daniel Craig, Chris Evans, Ana de Armas, Jamie Lee Curtis, Michael Shannon, Dave Johnson, Toni Collette, Lakeith Stanfield, Katherine Langford, Jaeden Martell, and Christopher Plummer. And brief synopsis of Knives Out. When renowned crime novelist Harlan Thrombey is found dead at his estate, the inquisitive Detective Benoit Blanc is mysteriously enlisted to investigate. From Harlan's dysfunctional family to his devotional staff, Blanc sifts through a web of red herrings and self-serving lies to uncover the truth behind Harlan's untimely death. So that's a very brief synopsis of Knives Out. And so real quick, I'll just throw this out there because this film is a quintessential whodunit, because we have a murder mystery type story of the same vein as, like, say, Clue, because of that, unfortunately, I am going to have to do this review spoiler free. I can't spoil anything because if I spoil it, it'll spoil the surprise, So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to give you all my thoughts on the film's writing. That is going to include the story as well as the plot, as well as the dialogue. I'll also talk about the characters, which is going to include how the characters are written, as well as the performances in the film. And then, we'll talk about visuals, we'll talk about music and things of that nature. So, but like I said, I got to do this spoiler free, guys. Got to do this spoiler free. All right. So, real quick, what did I think of Knives Out? It was good. It was good. I liked it. I highly enjoyed it. I thought it was very well written. I thought it was very well shot. I thought the editing, the directing, everything. And you know what's funny about this is because this was Rian Johnson's very next film after, the film that shall not be named. And I remember when this film came out, like, the people who had become, like, sort of, I don't want to call them Rian Johnson haters, but the people who were definitely upset with him from that previous film, they threw their stones at this one, but he knocked it out of the park. Johnson did a fantastic job in this film. He knocked it out of the park. I'm highly impressed because not only did he direct it, but he also co-wrote it. No, he wrote the whole thing. I think he did. Yeah, I think he has the full writing credit. So yeah, he did a really good job. Really good job. So, story-wise, what works in this film? Everything. Everything about it works. Everything about it works. The story is solid. I will say it's a lot smaller and more intimate than I expected it to be, which is kind of funny because once again, it's a whodunit story. Once again, it's like Clue, right? Or like Sleuth, right? And usually the way those stories occur is it's like, oh, there's a homicide that takes place in a location. It's a group of like eccentric characters that have all gathered, right? So it's like a dinner party or, a birthday party, a reunion, something like that, right? And then so a person gets knocked off, and then everybody at the, everyone who's there, everyone who's present, they're suspects. And so everyone has to be questioned, and everyone has to tell their story and where they were, and they have to be able to account for their whereabouts and get people to corroborate their story and all that type of jazz, right? Well, so this film, oddly enough, same conceit, same setup, but the story actually takes place over the course of like a week and a half, because it's a week from Harlan's murder to when the Detective Blanc shows up, right? When the investigation starts. So we have that week that week, time lapse. And then when the story picks up from there, the investigation lasts about 3 days. So yeah, so the fact that it's like we have longer time, we have, I think, more people involved, because yeah, there's a lot of people involved in this. The fact that we go to like several different locations, although we're still in the same small town, right? Still in the same small town, but we go to like several different locations and stuff like that. Like, at its core, the story is still relatively small, and it's still really intimate, because it's all about this family. It's all about the Thrombey family, right? So I was impressed by that, right? Um, Plot wise, I would say it's probably the most surprising thing about the film, because what's really cool is, so we sort of have like two mysteries going on at the same time, but they're all related to Harlan's murder, right? So we have the initial mystery of who killed Harlan Thrombey, right? We have that initial mystery. And from that mystery comes the investigation. But during the course of the investigation, another mystery sort of unravels. And the second mystery essentially is the mystery of the investigation itself, because that's one of the things about like this story that kind of makes it stand out a little bit, is that at the start of the film it is almost assumed to be a closed case until Detective Blanc comes in and he's like, no, it's not a closed case. In fact, there's more to it than you think. And that's where the second mystery comes off of. So yeah, so it's the murder mystery, and then it's the investigation mystery, which is really cool too. And yeah, it took a couple of twists and turns. I'm not gonna lie. But one thing I will praise the writing of this film, and I mean this goes into the cinematography, because of the specific things that were shot in the film, right? And then of course the editing and the directing, what Johnson intends for us to hear and intends for us to see. You could pretty much piece together the entire mystery on your own watching this film. You got to pay attention though. I will say that. It's not anything obvious, because there are certain things that are mentioned throughout the course of the film. They're only mentioned once, and they end up becoming very important pieces later on towards the end of the movie. So what I'm saying is, if you pay close enough attention, you can actually piece it all together yourself, because Johnson gives us all the clues. He gives us all the clues, and he gives us just about all the evidence. There really isn't any like surprise evidence. Not well, okay, there's one. But other than that, it's like everything else throughout the course of the film, we are shown on camera at some point in time. Now, yeah, me, I because I watched the Blu-ray. I watched it on Blu-ray. So I paused a lot. I rewind a lot while I was watching it, because I only watched it once, but I did pause and rewind a lot. So, but even with that, right? My thing was I was able to figure out who did it, right? But I couldn't figure out how they did it. That was the thing with me, right? Because in the course of the film there are like numerous suspects, like because Detective Blanc, he does this thing. He has the whole family to work with, and he starts to like narrow down suspects. And as he's narrowing down the suspects, I did figure out the two people most responsible, but I did not figure out the manner in which they were able to do what they did. And I was like, bruh. But as we were getting that reveal, I was like, oh yeah, because I remember this. Oh snap, it's gonna be that because remember they did this. But yeah, all of that, it's done really, really well. I think Johnson did a really good job at setting that up. I will say this. I'm just gonna throw this out there. Watch it with a group. Watch it with a group. Because I had to watch it solo, but I'm like, dude, like if I had like, if I was with like some of my fam or if I was with my friends or whatever, dude, I'd have had a ball with this movie. Because I was trying to figure it out the whole time I was watching it. So yeah. Okay, so like I said, story wise, it's really good. Yeah, I like I said, the story's solid. I won't spoil too much about what all happens and whatnot, but and then of course, like thematically, there are a lot of there's a lot of things working because Harlan was a um a mystery crime writer, like he's a crime novelist, right? So he writes like murder mysteries and stuff like that. And the fact that he's a writer, a famous writer at that, because he's like a multi-millionaire, but the fact that like multiple people are familiar with his work. One of the detectives who's working the case is a fan of his, so he's able to call back to some of Harlan's own work, and some of Harlan's work does play a role in the mystery of the film. Certain things like that, certain things about the business, like the family business, the publishing company and whatnot, that plays a role. So all of that is woven really, really well, right? All of that's done really well. And then, like I said, the plot is solid. The course of events that take place in the story, all of that's solid, and the dialogue's pretty good. The dialogue is good. It is best. It is the dialogue. Okay, so here's the thing. Because once again, because we see this investigation, so pretty much like all of the explanatory scenes, I mean, those are pretty straightforward, right? They're what you would expect. Oh, we have to learn something about this character. Well, yeah, because all the character introductions are done through like the not interrogations, but the investigations, right? Because they interview every member of the family, and that's how we get introduced to the characters, right? So all of that, it's textbook what you would expect. What I'm talking about is the banter. So when the characters aren't being interviewed and we just see them like interact with each other, that's where the best dialogue is. And it's, oh my goodness, dude, it's really good. It's really, 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 really good. And I totally buy this family. I totally buy their personalities, why they are the way they are, why their relationships are the way they are. Totally buy it all. It's really, really well done. So, like I said, writing wise, top notch stuff. Now I'm going to talk about the characters. All right. I'm going to talk about the characters. Like I said, all the characters are cool, but they're okay. There's only really two characters that I had somewhat of a issue with, and it's because they're like by the end of the movie, their role was so freaking small that they almost didn't even need to be there. But we'll get to that. So yeah, so let me go ahead, pull up my character list real quick so I can talk about the characters and talk about the actors and actresses and their performances, right? So first off, I'm gonna throw this out there. Um, the breakout performance in the film I thought was Ana de Armas, who plays Marta, who's Harlan's nurse, and pretty much like I guess you could say, not the key witness, but she is, because she's not part of the family and because she was such a close confidant to Harlan, she kind of becomes like she becomes the Watson to Blanc's Holmes. Because he even calls her that in the film. He calls her Watson. She kind of becomes like his partner during the investigation. But she is the breakout performance. She is great. Um, really, 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 really good. I mean, she's phenomenal. I think yeah, she does a really, really, really good job in this. And then I would say the second like best performance is Daniel Craig. Dude, Daniel Craig is really freaking good in this. And you know what's funny about that? Because okay, here's the thing with that. Because I've never been a Daniel Craig fan, mostly just because I know Craig mostly from the Bond films, and I'm not a James Bond fan. Remember? So like I'm more accustomed to Craig doing like these serious, like stoic performances. But then when I saw him in oh, what was that Channing Tatum film? Damn, what was the name of it? Logan Lucky. Logan Lucky. When I saw Daniel Craig and Logan Lucky, and then seeing him in this, dude, when he plays like these animated type characters, dude, he's phenomenal. He is really, 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 really good. And it's funny, he does a southern accent in that film and in this one. So maybe that's what helps with the caricature. But dude, yeah. When he does comedy, he is good. He is really, really good. And he's great in this. He's great in this. But yeah, just about all the actors and actresses are really good in this. I will mention, of course, Christopher Plummer. Dude, Christopher Plummer, he's the man. We already know that. He brings it in everything he's in, so this is no different. Chris Evans is really good in this, which I'm gonna tell you this. It's weird. I'm not gonna lie, dude. Um, it's weird seeing Chris Evans play a prick because I'm so used to seeing him as Captain America now. And you know what's funny about that is because I reviewed Scott Pilgrim couple of months ago, and he Chris Pratt. I say Chris Pratt, Chris Evans. He plays a prick in that film too, right? But I don't know, something about, because this is post Captain America, so just seeing him like pretty much play a douchebag in this is just kind of like, oh man, he's good at it though. He's good. He yeah, I totally believe it. He's good. He plays because his character is sort of like the I wouldn't call him the prodigal. No, he's the bad boy loner of the family, right? He's the black sheep of the family, and he plays that role. He plays it really, really well. Being sort of the spoiled, sort of impotent, like rich, entitled grandson. Like he plays that role really, 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 really well. So yeah. And let's see. Jamie Lee Curtis is good, though I don't think she's in the film enough. I really don't. To say that y'all got Jamie Lee Curtis, she's not in the film nearly enough, in my opinion. And Michael Shannon is great in this. I really liked his character, Walt. He was really good. Dude, Don Johnson. Don Johnson, bruh. Actually, I think he's in the film because he plays Richard, who is Jamie Lee Curtis's character, Linda, her husband. He's actually, I think he has more screen time than she does. He's great though. He has one of my favorite scenes in the film. And then Toni Collette, yeah, she's really good. And I'm trying to, yeah. So yeah, and okay, real quick, let me go ahead and hit up my man Lakeith. Lakeith is good too, but um, his character, because he's one of he, so Lakeith Stanfield plays the like lead detective because remember because Detective Blanc, he's brought in after the investigation has started, right? So but the main detective who did the initial investigation, that's Lakeith's character, but he's textbook, he's archetypical, there's nothing about his character necessarily that stands out, and maybe it's because, granted, he's one of the window characters, right? Because he's learning about the family the same time we are. So he is supposed to be representative of us, the viewer, the audience, because he's just a regular guy, just like we are. But he is really, I mean, he's really sharp, and he is the voice of reason and logic, because it takes his character to be able to break everything down and to like go over, the evidence and all that type of jazz in the most practical, sensible way possible, so that the things that seem like they're impossible, that's where Craig's character comes in and he's like, oh no, well, let's not overlook this, or have you considered this? Because he's thinking about like the most like what most people would consider to be like preposterous, you know? And they do a good back and forth on that. They play off each other very well in doing that. But like I said, dude, like, I mean, but he's kind of, he's kind of textbook. And I'm like, man, I kind of wish he would have, gotten more to do, or his character was a little bit more vibrant. But once again, he's supposed to be us. So yeah. Um okay, so the characters that I had some criticism with, and like once again, it's because at the end of the day their role was so small. I almost had to argue, why were they even in the movie, right? So the first one is going to the first one and the most egregious one is Jaeden Martell as Jacob Thrombey, who is Harlan's youngest grandson. Why is he even in the movie? Like, legit, he's only in like 4 or 5 scenes, and he only speaks really in one scene, and that's it. And his character, like, of course, his character is gimmicky, um, because he's an alt-right teenager. So everything you could every negative stereotype you could possibly think of what I just described as an alt-right teenager, that's what he is. But why? Like, there was no there that being sort of like his identity played no role in the story whatsoever. And like I said, the fact that he only has like one scene where he actually speaks, I'm like, why was he even in the movie? Likewise, here's the other part. So Katherine Langford, her character Meg, who is Harlan's granddaughter, right? So Jacob's cousin, right? She is defined as like an SJW. She's an SJW college student, right? Okay. But what about so you gave us that identifier, but that does not play a role in the story whatsoever. So you might as well just consider these things like quirks, because it does. So, Larry, why is that a problem? I'm going to tell you why it's a problem. Because every other quirk that is associated to the adult characters actually plays a role in their personality. And because it plays a role in their personality, it plays a role in their actions in the course of the film. Like Linda is the oldest of Arlen's children. She has this whole like self-made thing, because she's a boss lady or whatever. Guess what? She acts like it. It informs her personality, which then informs her actions throughout the course of the story. The other one, Walt, Michael Shannon's character, who is I guess Walt would be considered the prodigal son, because he's the one that works in the publishing company. He's the one that publishes Harlan's books. And he views himself as like Harlan's heir, right? Like that. So he has sort of like this what do you call it? It's this sort of like insecurity. He kind of has an insecurity. He's trying to live up to his dad, right? Guess what? That plays a role in his personality, and it affects the way in which it influences how he acts throughout the course of the film. Same thing with Chris Evans' character, Ransom. Ransom, once again, he's the black sheep, right? He's the bad boy loner grandson. But Harlan says at the beginning of the film that Ransom is the most like Harlan than any of the other members of the family, because Ransom reminds him so much of himself as a young man. And guess what? That influences Ransom's personality, which influences his actions, which play a role throughout the course of the film. With the other two grandkids, Jacob and Meg, that their quirks play no part in the film whatsoever. To the point where I'm like, why are they there? Now, Meg, I can make a little bit more of a case for because she is like sort of friends with Marta. And Marta is pretty much like our protagonist in the film, right? Because she's the confidant. But other than that, that's it. And I'm gonna tell you this too. With what happens with Meg later in the film, I don't buy that they're actually friends. I'm gonna be honest. I don't buy that they're friends. So yeah, yeah, yeah. But like I said, everybody in the film is great. It's just the two youngest grandkids. I'm sort of like, why are y'all even here? But oh well. Oh well. Moving on. Okay, so let me talk about cinematography. Um, this first off, the film is beautiful. The film is beautiful. I love the palette. I love the manner in which what they do with color. Which another thing, like if you guys check out the wallpaper that I'm using as like the thumbnail and whatnot, like the way the colors are in this picture is pretty much how the film looks as well. And I think it works. I think it works really, really well. The sort of saturation that the colors have, I think it plays into the theme, and it does let you know that it's like, even though this takes place in the real world, this is almost cartoonish in many respects. So having those bright and vibrant colors, I think, lends itself really well to that theme, um, which is really cool. And then, like I said, just just what is shot in the film, what we see, with the inserts, the close-ups, things like that. All of the items that are revealed later to be evidence that plays a role, like how Johnson shoots those scenes and how he incorporates them in that film. Like I said, the breadcrumbs, I think, is done really, really, really well. Um, yeah. And the other thing too, everything is there intentionally. That's the other thing I loved about it too. Even the goal board, even the freaking goal board played a bigger role than what we initially were led to believe at the start of the film. So yeah, that kudos for that. Um, and then the music's really cool too. I think, is this Zimmer? Is this Zimmer who did this? No, I'm sorry. No, it's not. It is Nathan Johnson who did the music for this. Um, Damn, why was I? Oh, because I'm thinking of another movie. That's why I'm thinking of another movie. Oh wow, I am familiar with Johnson because he did Kill the Messenger and Looper. Oh well, yeah. Okay, yeah, I got it. Yeah. Um, Yeah, he's been a long collab. Oh, Rian Johnson's cousin. That's why. Because I'm seeing Brick. I'm seeing the Brothers Bloom. I'm like, those are all Rian Johnson movies. So yeah, it's his cousin. Yeah, he did a good job. He did a good job. The music here is really good. Um, so yeah, so that's pretty much it. That's all I had to say about the film. Solid film. Really, really good film. I highly check it out. If you like, sort of like whodunits and murder mysteries and whatnot, you'll really get a kick out of this. I'm curious though, for those of you all who have seen it, did y'all figure out who actually did it? Do not put who did it in the comments. Okay, just let me know if you were able to figure out who did it. Because like I said, I figured out who did it, but I couldn't figure out how they did it. Um, and then even in terms of the motive, like, I knew the motive, I just didn't know how that plan, like once you found out what the plan was, how the plan was supposed to work in order to fulfill said motive. Like at that, I was like, wait a minute, but because let's be real about this. For those of you all who know who's responsible, um, their plan seemed almost counterintuitive at one point. And then once we get the full explanation about like, oh, this was supposed to happen and that was supposed to happen, I'm like, okay. But But yeah, but all in all, really, 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 really good film. I highly recommend it. Okay, okay. Checking out some of the comments real quick. Yeah. Da, 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 da. I see my man DeJohn asked me, Larry, do you like the murder mystery genre or is it like the spy? No, I like murder mysteries. I like murder mysteries. It's just for the most part, they're relatively easy to figure out. They're not as surprising. But no, I like murder mysteries if it's done well enough. Cause DeJohn, real quick, dude. Dude, one of my favorite show of 2013 was True Detective season 1. I freaking love that. That was great. Um, yeah, yeah. I see the comment about the grandkids. Even still, though, I mean, the parents were dysfunctional enough. So, yeah, yeah. I like this one. How do the rich be friends with the help? I know, right? Well, with Harlan or with the kids? Because remember, Marta was his nurse, so he spent more time with her than his own damn kids. So, so I believe Marta and Harlan's friendship. I don't believe Marta and Meg's friendship. Yeah. All right, guys. So I am going. So yeah. So that's going to wrap up my review of Knives Out. Once again, I want to go ahead and give another shout out to my man Double O Soldier. Thanks again for requesting. Thanks again for supporting the channel and whatnot. Much appreciated. And just a reminder to you all, if you guys have a film that you would like to see me review right here on OAW Entertainment, become a patron at patreon.com/OAW and select the Blockbuster tier. Um, in addition to your request, with that tier, you also get access to all Patreon exclusive content. You get access to the OAW Vault, and you get an invite to join in on the live monthly Q&A that is held right here on the OAW YouTube page, as well as the OAW Facebook page. So once again, that is patreon.com/OAW. Select that Blockbuster tier. All right, guys. So what to keep an eye out for later this week? Later this week, let's see. I have a manga first impressions that is coming down later this week, as well as another top 5 for you guys. So stay tuned with that. And with that being said, this has been Larry Williams, OAW Commander in Chief. I am signing off, and until next time, peace.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?